WV Uncommonplace. This podcast is a variety podcast that houses numerous series to cover mental health, empowerment, podcast framework, and various intimate theories to get to know the hosts. Along with occasional movies reviews and dives in pop culture with our event podcast episodes. The Uncommonplace digs into bringing guests on that stories don't fit the mold and are very different. WV stands for the great state of West Virginia, and every quarter we cover something in West Virginia. Stacy and myself, JR, are your hosts, so please come along for this venture to our Uncommonplace.
Welcome to West Virginia Commonplace. We all have hobbies, we have things I like, and everybody knows I like projectors. Today, with the help of some information from BenQ, which is one of the top leaders in projectors, I'm going to go over a few things to help people that want to get projectors. Now, projectors, there's different terminology, different things that you need to know. But I'm going to touch on a few things because it's important when it comes time to buying a projector and what you want to do with one. So the first thing we're going to talk about is aspect ratio. That's the size and the shape of a displayed image. Typical high definition in UHD, which we'll talk about a bit, content is 16.9 wide on a screen. Movie theaters use a 2.35 by 1 or the old letterbox content. That's what we were using before HD. That was 4.3. Now, with a projector, you have calibration. Calibration on these is just the adjustment of the display to how you want it to be. So, for instance, the standards are Adobe RGB, DCI-P3, Rec 709, Rec 2020. So with that, if you don't calibrate your projector the right way, a red card could get displayed as an orange one. So you just have to be very careful with that. Now, we'll go into some more terminologies that go under this. Color, temperature. Color is affected by energetic light. Temperature determines what we see. Temperature measured in kelvins with almost all content in the 4,700 Kelvin range. You may encounter the term D65. This refers to the temperature of light during daytime and serves as a reference in many color places, including Rec 709. D65 measures approximately 65 kelvins. So, going into more detail about the color, then there's the color gamut, which is the range and depth of the color that's displayed. On certain projectors, you don't have to worry about that. Now the color wheel. That is simple. Color wheel is the component that shows the colors that are generated. Red, green, and blue are the three segments. So, RGB, RGB. And contrast. And then DCP3, that's what I want to talk about. It's a specialized color gamut developed for digital movie projection in professional cinemas and wider than Rec 709, especially in green and red spaces. So with that being said, that is one of the things that you have to worry with when you buy an expensive projector. The projectors that I buy use this technology we're about to talk about, which is DLP. Digital light processing, a technology that uses millions of micromirrors to generate a precise image sent by a powerful light source. Compared to other projection technologies like LCD, DLP mechanisms resist dust build and don't require complex filters that end up degrading image quality. Most importantly, the mirrors used in DLP are extremely long-lasting, while LCD panels deteriorate much more quicker. Even the light source lamp requires replacement. Image quality remains at peak with a DLP, while with LCD, quality worsens over time, regardless of how new the lamp may be. So yeah, definitely the DLP is something that, is something that we definitely have to watch out about. And going into further detail, FPS, frames per second. That's the number of times a display refreshes per second. The more frames, the smoother the video. TV and movie content usually uses 24 frames. Video games typically run at 30 to 60 and increase up to 144. Often measured in hertz. That's Hz. Gamma, the wave voltage affects brightness. Increasing voltage boosts light output, therefore meaning a brighter image. Ghosting. When a source and a display aren't properly synced, images can appear to have duplicated themselves. And that's something that happens a lot with projectors. If you buy like a cheaper one, like I had an RCA one that happened to. Now, on to simple things. HDMI, high definition multimedia interface, the most common home media connector and cable standard since the mid 2008. HDMI 2.0 and up required for 4K UHD at 64 frames. Now, this is where we get into some of this craziness. HDR, high dynamic range, allows brighter whites, deep blacks for more realistic and dramatic image. High resolution is not HDR. That's one thing I do want to get out there. Keystone. When a projector isn't properly aligned in front of a screen, the image starts being rectangular and loses its aspect ratio. That's fixed by the automatic keystone correction on select projectors. And it's the person, you can fix your keystone. You usually have a keystone button on your projector. So that's one thing that you can definitely get there. LCD is explanatory. Liquid crystal display, one of the leading technology in TVs and projectors. Different from digital light processing in the LCD panels tend to fade and change properties over time, while DLP mirrors retain the initial quality much longer and do not suffer from LCD typical issues such as hot spotting and image deformity problems. Lens shift provides flexibility for either installing or placing the projector. The image can be shifted up, down, left, right with a certain range without moving the projector itself. Now on to the major thing, lumen. Popular unit for measuring total light output and brightness. Luminous matters for a way the projector behaves based on an ambient light condition, for example, bright and dark rooms. Lumens are the key thing when you're out here buying a projector. If you don't get a high amount of lumens, then you will not be playing in light areas. Lower lumens, you can play in dark areas and it looks fairly decent. Now, native resolution. Common resolutions for full high definition are 1920 by 1080 or 1080p. Ultra high definition is 384 times 2160 or 2060p. The P stands for progressive scan. Measured in pixels along two axles and megapixels per frame. So, those are the terms that we need to talk about. And I got one more, throw distance. Throw distance is the distance a projector needs to show an image on screen of a given size. Differs between fixed and zoomable projectors. So watch that, and then you also have to catch up with the upscaling, because upscaling is the process for the image to increase its resolution. For example, 4K TVs and projectors can upscale 1080 content to 2060p, but the process may cause image compromise. So that is the start to what we're going to dive into today. Me, for instance, I have had 6 different projectors. I use portable and Pico projectors. The bigger full-scale projectors, they are good for any and everyone. Picking your projector solely based on what you want to do. Nobody can tell you about that. So now, one thing that I do want to talk about, and this is another piece of information that is from BenQ, and I want to thank them for giving us a big to do about all of the 4K. All right, so we're going to talk about 4K, UHD, and all that. The difference between a 4K TV and a 4K projector. The major difference lies in price and overall quality, but projector 4K content is not far from its television counterpart. That's what I'm stating this verbatim. It just depends on the TV size. So there are 2 kinds of 4K projectors. There's true 4K projectors and enhanced 4K projectors. Both of these play 4K content, but there's a difference. True 4K is 8.3 megapixels and is considered as showing the 4K resolution by using a DLP 4K UHD chipset with advanced imaging processing, which makes the pixel switch fast. This delivers a 3840 by 2160 resolution with 8.3 million distinctive pixels for each frame, 4 times higher than the full HD 1080p. Enhanced 4K mainly refers to a more limited and slower version of pixel shifting technology, which mostly uses 2K resolution or 4.1 megapixels, but fired twice to seemingly show 8.3 megapixels on the screen. Both enhanced and true 4K projectors show excellent and fantastic detail. The difference is still visible when projected onto the cinema screen. 4K is superior in terms of detail, sharpness, and all other aspects in your home cinema experience. So that there is a hard tell there. So what exactly is 4K content, and where do I watch it? The most popular way of watching 4K content is streaming your favorite series. You may think that 4K content is only for those looking for high-end quality, but multiple platforms offer this 4K. So we're going to go into some quick details, and we'll talk about 4K. Netflix was one of the first services to start using 4K UHD content. Its content is growing, and most of their original series are shot in 4K and with HDR. Netflix even gives you the option of double checking whether you're actually watching 4K content using a handy tool they provide. Amazon, for comedy, documentaries, and all other stuff, they have all kinds of content in 4K. The catch is having a Prime membership, but if you're looking for amazing quality, definitely check them out. YouTube even offers 4K to a certain degree. Now, there's so many other aspects that can go into doing the 4K projection and all that other stuff. Personally, myself, I have not done any 4K gaming yet, so I can't speak on that. Everything I've done is ran in 1080 and it runs at 60 frames. So that's what I do there. Gaming wise, you are pretty much on your own on that. So once again, this is just the start of my talking about projectors. I want to thank you guys very much for listening. West Virginia Uncommonplace, we're always trying to do different things. Please like, subscribe, check us out on Twitter, check us out on Facebook, Instagram, wherever we are, TikTok, and we will definitely keep moving forward with the podcast. Thank you very much. I'm JR signing off.
Please follow WV Uncommonplace on Instagram, Tumblr, Twitter, TikTok, where we have some great content, Facebook, LinkedIn. Hit up the merch store at uncommonplace.square.site. Join the email list from the website, and rate, subscribe, and give feedback from your favorite podcatcher. And lastly, thanks for listening, and tune into the next episode.